Well, that was a big waste of time. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. I've watched all of these videos trying to get some information about what is actually going on in this Howard Blum book without actually buying the book. I really don't want to buy the book because I just know that this dude is full of it and that he's literally just writing out the way that this played out in his own sick fantasy mind, because that's literally all this is. We don't have anything that has been proven yet. Nothing in the prosecution story when it comes to anything that they might have against Bryan Kohberger has been proven. And pretty much every single time that we've had a court hearing, anything that they tried to tell us they had has been disintegrated. So I don't understand why everyone is freaking out about this book, but it's kind of stupid. And it's telling us just exactly how big of actors a lot of these people are, especially Nancy Grace. Now, I just finished watching the last of the couple of them that I wanted to watch, but I recorded this whenever I was still a little bit hangry. Okay, so I've watched probably like 3 of those videos at this point. I took a break. I had to run down to the taco shop and get some barbacoa before they closed, okay? So right now I'm waiting on Ariel to get her butt back in the car with my tacos. But I watched like 3 so far of these little bitty, short, little interview clips, you know, that they put out whenever they talk to Howard Blum about the book, right? It's becoming more and more and more and more apparent that he literally just took everything from those airmail articles and just turned it into a book. Literally everything from Maddie being the person, Kaylee sleeping in the room with Maddie, the way that he's describing the like order of attack, all those things. It's all literally the exact same way that his airmail articles lay out. So far, this just seems like the most ridiculously one-sided, rumor-driven soap opera. That's all it seems like. Like, it's literally stuff that makes no sense. Like, I don't have my notes on me, obviously, because I'm over here at the taco place. But one of the things that I remember is thinking, okay, so you're going to sit here and try to make me believe that Bryan Kohberger's sister went and told Dad, hey, Dad, something's wrong. These murders, Bryan being close, we know there's issues. Something's telling me something's up, and he just ignored it. But this is the same dad that apparently called the cops on him for stealing his own sister's cell phone. Something that needs to be handled, or should have been handled, like inside the home, because it's his sister and it's a cell phone, and you should have just been a father and fathered up on that situation. So he'll call the cops for a cell phone, but he won't call the cops on the off chance his son might actually be a quadruple murderer. That doesn't compute. That math doesn't math. Those things don't make sense. That's like a complete contradiction in behavior. One of the other things he tried to say was that, like, the 2 stops in Indiana that we all know were orchestrated by the feds, regardless of what they try to say, okay? That those 2 stops really made Michael Kohberger start thinking, oh, there is a possibility. So you're sitting there again telling me the man who called the cops on the cell phone situation might have maybe ignored the sister at first, but then starts seeing these cops coming around and them getting pulled over, and it don't click in his head, and he just goes on for another, what is it, like 2 weeks almost? Just like nothing? This is the same man that called the cops on the cell phone? No. No. And he's just like hunkering down on the whole, he had to have met Maddie at the Mad Greek, and saying that, you know, he wouldn't have even had to have talked to her to become obsessed with her, which is true. Okay, we're going to be going over a story here very soon. I've done the entire recording on it. I just need to edit it, but there's like always new stuff that pops up, okay? But this whole thing about Maddie, I believe that if there was a target, it had to have been Maddie. If there was a target, if this situation is a one-person situation, it would have had to have been Maddie. And I also believe, just based off of everything that we've been told, that if anybody was asleep, it was Maddie. Okay? And that's never changed. Now, people that are here, all of my lovelies that are here, know that I don't believe that the 2 girls fell asleep in the same bed together. I don't at all. I haven't from the very beginning, before we ever had a suspect or an arrest or any of the things, before the probable cause, all right? Before any of it. And that's never changed. And it's probably never going to change unless a few other things get answered for me, like where was Kaylee's cell phone charger? Like, it's small stuff like that, right? My thing is that I believe that Kaylee was in her room, even though she had been moved out, there still was furniture and a bed in there. but I believe she was in her room with Murphy, and Murphy started moving around, either alerting to the DoorDasher or to whoever was in the home, and Kaylee left Murphy behind a closed door in her bedroom and basically like interrupted an attack, is how I feel that happened. That's never changed. I don't believe whatsoever that the girls fell asleep in the same bed. They just happened to have been found in the same bed. But that doesn't mean they fell asleep in the same bed, in the same room. It doesn't at all. Now, the only thing about that I can agree with is that you don't have to be actually having conversations and be personally involved with somebody to be unhealthily obsessed with them. We've seen it plenty of times. Stalkers, celebrities, normal people can have people that literally stalk them, and they've never met them. They've never even like talked to them or smiled at them or anything in passing. It's just people are screwed up in the head. And this other story that we're going to be going over with soon, it's worse than that. It's literally like, oh, I happened to see that person for a whole like 2 seconds, and that's all I needed to decide to like end their lives. I don't even know their names. I don't know what their favorite color is. I don't know who their mama is. I don't know if they're an only child. I don't know where they work. I don't know shit about them other than they're a person. They have a heartbeat, and I want to make that heartbeat stop. That's how some of these people really are. Like, they're screwed up. They're screwed up. But so far with these couple of little videos that I've watched, I'm not impressed. He's not saying anything that matters to me. And all it is the same old regurgitated rumors from 18 months ago. So, the tacos are coming. It's time for me to get back to the house. And I'm going to finish watching these. And I don't really feel like I'm going to change my mind on how I feel about any of this Howard Blum stuff. So, here goes. So now that I've eaten all of those delicious tacos, I can confirm it hasn't changed my mind. Me being hungry or not, all of this still is just as ridiculous to me, with or without tacos. Howard is also trying to claim that Michael going down to meet up with Bryan and do this whole road trip was like last minute because he was concerned about his son. But we have it from the Pennsylvania attorney from before Bryan was brought back to Idaho that trip was planned out the entire time. That the tickets had already been paid for way before the event, that the Christmas break trip, road trip, was planned basically whenever Bryan was like planning to move there for school. They had already set this plan in motion. So something else that people really need to keep in mind, and I don't hear anybody else's like videos on this making Howard repeat this part, that just like he didn't talk to Steve Goncalves and he only talked to people around Steve Goncalves and around the victims' families that were assholes enough to speak to him, okay? Same situation with Bryan Kohberger's family and whoever he got this information from, okay? We have some random aunt that's not even married into the family anymore and hasn't been since Bryan was like a teenager, being the one coming out here and spreading the rumors about him being vegan. So of course, you know that Howard Blum had to bring back the entire old rumor, like I think I mentioned in that other clip that I posted of me in the car, about Maddie and the Mad Greek and the vegan connection and all this stupid shit, okay? None of that's been proven. Literally none of it. None of it. Now, there's a couple other videos I'm going to watch. I know that Howard's been over on Megyn Kelly. There's more than one video. So I'm going to watch those and do a reaction video on all of the Megyn Kelly, Howard Blum stuff about this book together. But there's another one from a channel that I had never heard of before that I'm going to do a reaction video with the full video in it. Like, it's not going to be live. It's going to be one of my pre-recorded things. But this channel in the comments has people upset. I've never, ever, ever heard of this channel before. It's called True Crime MTN. And there's this like apparent like actual forensic expert lady on here talking. And all I did was go down into the comments and people are like, stop spreading lies. They don't give a shit if these victims get justice. What a hit piece. A lawyer should know better than to do all of this. Don't play into these media lies for sensationalism. Another one about the expert. The fact this lady has a criminology degree and partakes in this type of nonsense is wild. And I listened to maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. And as soon as she started talking, I was like, okay, this is a person who literally has done nothing, just like the Lazy Masquerade guy has done absolutely zilch when it comes to actually looking at true facts, court documents, court hearings, okay? And they're spewing mainstream stuff, claiming things are not validated that have been validated over a year ago. Okay, So we're going to watch that one, and I'm going to put a video out about that one. But that's it for this so far. This is my take on his little stupid press tour. Now, today is the day. Is today the 25th? No, today's the 26th. Yesterday is whenever this book dropped. Now, Nancy Grace is over here saying, I sat in my hot car in the Costco parking lot just to make sure that I read this entire book in one day, and I took so many notes, and I'm just so overwhelmed by all the information. Oh, what information? All the same stuff that we've been hearing for 18 months? This is nothing new. And none of it is legit. None of it is real. It's literally all hearsay from third-party people because there's a gag order. And Howard himself admitted that these are not people that, like, got information from Michael Kohberger and then personally related over to Howard Blum or any of the families either. These are people that are talking to him against basically what the families are really wanting. Just like Bryan Kohberger is standing completely silent, it sounds like his family is doing the same. Steve Goncalves, there's an entire conversation between him and Brett Norton, who's a TikToker, for those of you who don't know, about Howard Blum and how Steve doesn't want to talk to him. But there was information still getting back to Howard about Steve and things that Steve said from people like Brett Norton and other TikTokers and other social media creators that Steve has been talking to behind the scenes. So while these people are not being spoken to directly by Book Writer over here, he's talking to people that talk to them, even though he knows damn well these people directly don't want nothing to do with him. And he's just doing it anyway. And again, there's one thing about coming out here and speculating and trying to talk about the case in itself, but he is literally out here doing like that lazy masquerade guy, creating facts that we've never heard before, claiming that they're facts when they're literally just made up boo-boo in his brain, and not actually getting down to anything of truth. This is just another major form of jury tampering, in my opinion. It's just as bad as all of these stalking videos that News Nation and all these other big media people did when there's nothing to back it up. I understand the dynamic here. We could literally be looking at somebody who is so diabolically insane that he did all of this stuff, and the case is so screwed up in the investigation wise that somebody crazy, insane, guilty could walk because of the way that this case was handled inefficiently from several different agencies. Or a man that's completely innocent could end up being put on death row in front of a firing squad for something that he didn't do because of that exact same level of negligence and inability to actually do their job. Seriously, these past few motion hearings that we've had, where we had Mallory and Payne and Cyree come out and testify on what they know about the situation, it became really apparent how disorganized and unprofessional they are. They don't even do their own work. Payne especially doesn't do his own work. He goes and he gets it from everyone else and then plays the game of telephone in his head and thinks that he's reiterating it correctly when his knowledge base tells me he's incapable of doing so. So I don't know why all of these people are still out here talking about this book and talking about these details as if they're for real true. And something else that I found a little strange is that he's trying to like make it to where Dylan's story is a little bit different than what we originally heard. But it also really makes me think about what else they really do know about stuff, because one of the things that was mentioned in one of the videos, I don't know which one it was, but it was one of those that I showed you at the beginning of this, okay? It's talked about how Dylan opened the door and was like, calm down, you're being loud. Okay, well, we heard that she said, shut the F up, and like screamed it. But then we also heard that whenever she saw like the guy walking past her door and heard all these noises, that she didn't really think much of it because she just thought it was a party goer. So is that supposed to indicate that there were already multiple people being heard inside of the house at the time that this attack was going on? Because for it to just be one person walking around a house, how could you say party goer if there wasn't some sort of party actually happening at the time? And that is something that we heard in the beginning, and part of those rumors that I kind of figured would end up like recirculating. But he's trying to make it sound different. I don't know. But he's also in the book claiming something that we've had questions about how Dylan and Bethany were talking to each other via cell phone, not just during the commission of the crime, but also after. So even in his own book and all of the stuff that he's trying to claim here, he is still giving us more things to question about Dylan and Bethany. Especially Dylan, honestly. And truthfully, the eyes should maybe be looking more at Bethany, because normally the people that they don't talk about are the ones that the focus are really on. It's kind of like a tactic that they use. But again, it goes back to that whole thing. She can't be out there yelling, shut the F up, calm down, you're being too loud, and acting like, oh, this is just a party goer crossing by my door, and then say that she was in a frozen shock phase for not calling 911. It can't be both. You either thought that there was a regular situation going on and there wasn't anything profound about the man who walked across your door, or something else happened and you're literally choosing to lie about it. One way or the other. I don't know. Again, every little thing that we heard here, besides the made up crap that you can tell was freaking made up in this man's fantasy brain, are all rumors and things that we heard within like a week or so of Bryan being arrested. And a lot of these things we sort of heard like way before the arrest. Okay. A lot of these rumors were pre Bryan. One last thing is that he, in one of the videos, is talking about the alibi because for some reason they feel the need to ask this man about the defense's like theory on how they're going to be doing things and what they're going to be actually like showing up in the court. And he's basically acting as if the alibi is useless because the defense is saying, oh yeah, he was driving around with his phone off. They never said that. They never once said Bryan's phone was turned off. The defense has never said that. So again, he's just like spewing stuff without anything to really back it up. Like, I really wonder if he pays attention to these court hearings at all. Does he get documents and look through them? Or does he, again, just go to like Bing and have an AI bot like give him a summary about what's happening? Because it doesn't seem like he's putting anything factual or real into his story. Okay, I got a couple more videos to watch. I think I have like 5 in my mind right now that I need to watch and do like review reactions on. So you'll be seeing a lot of me over the next few days. And don't forget that we do have a court hearing tomorrow. It's a scheduling hearing in the Idaho 4 case. It will be at 12 Texas time, so 12 Central, 10 a.m. Idaho time, and I will be doing the way that I have been doing here lately, where I am live streaming it onto the channel, but I am in the chat with you guys, and then if anything important happens, we will live review it later on the same exact evening. So that would be tomorrow evening at some point if something extra besides just a bunch of scheduling stuff actually pops off tomorrow. Now, a lot of people are trying to say trial date possible, and that's very possible. They might actually schedule something, but as I've mentioned, if they schedule it, I feel it's going to just end up getting pushed back a couple of times before we get anything concrete. And that's just my opinion. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you were not subscribed already. See y'all.